What's up, everybody? Paul with Stud Pack. Welcome back to the channel. It's me and Rad today. We are in the back of an old Kroger grocery store. This is actually some property that our church bought. So it's me and Rad because Jordan is busy getting the financing ready on the Stud Pack dream house. He's working hard behind the scenes. We are really close, guys. Thanks for your patience as we get ready to build the Stud Pack dream house. So we'll be framing that house, and in order to get our framing game back on, we thought what better way to do that than to come over to our church and build a little stage for our youth. Now it's basically a deck. It's not just gonna be any deck. We gotta bend 2x8s because they want it to be curved. We gotta take care of some wire management so none of the kids trip on the wires, and it has to be completely modular because if you've ever been at a church before, you know they're gonna change things. And we actually have a deadline on this project. Today's Thursday, it's actually 3 o'clock. We had a little trouble getting the wood delivered this morning. Had to wait on those guys, and we have to be out of here by Saturday. So let's get to work. So here I am in the space where the stage goes. This room's probably 30 feet wide and about 90 feet long, kind of narrow and long. And they want to get like 100 kids in here. That's gonna be awesome. So they picked up some 10 by 10 drop cloths and they set them on the floor just to try to give themselves an idea of where the stage is gonna go so they could tell us how big to make it. So I drew a little sketch, like always. This is my sketchbook, and that gives me an idea for our material. There's our material list, just lumber. So what Rad and I are gonna do, we're gonna build these 3 4x8 rectangles, and then we're gonna come back and show you how we build these with curved 2x8s, and of course, again, we're all gonna build it in the back, transport it in here completely finished so we don't mess up this beautiful carpet and don't make a mess of this room. So back here in our workshop, we got all our 2x8s right here, our 3/4 Advantech piled up against the wall. Remember, we're gonna build them back here, then we'll put them on these dollies and roll them straight in there, modular style, and hook them all together. So we got our workstation set up over here. I had Rad bring the saw stop. It was at his house. Don't know if I'll need it, but every time I don't have it, I need it. You guys know how that goes. So we're gonna throw you into a quick TL, little time lapse, build 3 fast 4x8 rectangles. And there we go, guys, 3 rectangles, 4x8, and that was the easy part. We got 2 sections over there and 2 there, but they have a 6-foot radius in the corners, just like my drawing I worked on last night. Let's head back to our work area, bend some 2x8s. All right, guys, hope you can see my drawing. So what we have on the drawing, we started to build on the floor. On the floor is all the straight pieces, whatever's not curved, right? So this part on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 short pieces. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On your right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, on the right-hand side of these, we needed it to be on our 16-inch layout, right? But we don't have a board over here yet. That's gonna be our curved board. So we had the end of one of our 2x8s. It had a bad split in it. So you can see we just used that for our blocking. So now these are spaced exactly like that side. So our next step, we're gonna grab our piece of 4x8 masonite I picked up over there on the wall, that white one. We're gonna rip a strip out of it. We're gonna pin it right here, which is a 6-foot radius, 6 foot from each side. And then we're gonna use it to scribe on the tops of these the beginning of our arch. Once we have that mark made on the tops, we'll infill with all these blocks, use the same piece of masonite, attach our circular saw to it, and cut that arch out of our 2x material. That's the plan. Let's see if we can pull it off. All right, guys, getting closer to cutting the curve. Now, our radius is 6 feet, 72 inches, and our band is 1.5 inches thick. So I deducted that from 72, so I pulled 70.5. Hook right there, and this mark is 70.5 from that end. And this mark right here is 70.5 from the front edge. We got our Milwaukee track saw set up where we want it. and we're 70.5 right there. Now that's the center point of our arch. So we're going to use this strip of masonite as a compass. We're going to drill a hole in it, put a screw in our pivot, drill another hole for our pencil, scribe our 2-bys. All right, here's the center of our compass. And the reason this is so wide, we're also going to attach our circular saw to this and use the same piece of wood to make our cuts. Got my pica pencil. Love these things. We'll put a link below. I'm going to drop it in there. I hit the wood, scribe it, and that's the edge of our circle. We're going to come over here to this one. Got a little check in the lumber, so I'm going to start over here where I got a square edge. I'm at the corner, scribe it. Again, I'm at the corner and I'm scribing. And again, all these are 70.5 from our center point. Just going to trim a little bit off of this one. If we did our math right, that hole is going to line up with the end of this board. And it looks like we're perfect, bud. See that?
Perfect.
Yep. So now what we can do, we can use these marks to establish where we need blocking. So we got to have a block here, top and bottom. One here, a long one across there, and another one way across the front. So now let's go cut all those blocks and install them. Then we're ready to cut our arch. Our next step is to add blocking, top and bottom. Because when we bend that 2x8 around here, we're going to be able to fasten it all along these blocks as well as into the ends of our joist. So this one was easy. It's just straight. This one, I just lined up this board. We're using these ones that are garbage, right? Where they're all split like this, because all that gets cut off. Then I just lined this up with the marks I made on top, here and here. You can see I already cut this one, and I'm letting the wood tell me where to cut. I'm not measuring anything with an angle finder, so now I can just line that up there. Boom, reach under, scribe that. Now I need 2 of those. Putting in our block, so in every other bay, we could get 2 screws from the left-hand side and 2 in from the right. So we did every other bay. But on the intermediate bays, we can't do that. So this block goes in here like this. I could toe screw it, but toe screws tend to pull the lumber off your mark. It's no longer flush here, and I really want it to be flush. So we just put these blocks in here. They're already screwed in. And now we can put that on top, screw down into our blocks. All the while remembering where we're going to cut with our saw and making sure the screws are back so I don't cut one in half. All right, all our blocks are attached, at least the top ones. We got 2 or 3 bottom ones we'll have to screw on to our blocks when we flip this whole thing over. But there we go, starting to look like a curve. Our next step is to attach our circular saw to this piece of masonite. You can already see how this is going to work. And it's just going to follow our pivot point. And I'm going to cut all these off in a few passes. Very first step in attaching our saw to our masonite. We got our pivot point down here. 70.5 is the pencil line right on that hole. So I'm going to cut it off right there at 70.5. All right, I spun this around. This is the edge of the white board I just cut. I got my blade pushed up against it. I got my square, so the shoe of my saw is square to the board. Now I'm just going to make a couple of holes. Probably from the last time I did this, I've got holes in the base of my saw that I know that I drilled. Reach in there with my pica. There we go. And we're going to use the corded Porter cable on this because this takes a lot of power to cut through a curve. We're going to show you over there when we actually do it. And we don't have to worry about plugs because check it out. There's like 4 plugs every 6 feet in here. We got plugs galore. And if you're wondering what this big pipe is, this 12-inch PVC, it's actually for the toilet on the 2nd floor. All right, let's mount our saw. So we're just screwing the base to our saw, right like that. Now I'll do the bottom one. What?
What's that?
Oh my gosh. I grabbed 2 screws out of my bin, and of course I grabbed one that's Phillips and one that's slotted. Oh look, I got a slotted screwdriver. Just tighten this guy, and we are ready to go. There's our setup, gang. Now this piece of wood, it can be anything you want, but I like it something thin. That's why I got this 1/8-inch hardboard. My saw is screwed on securely in 2 spots. I'm screwed in down there. Now I can just move it and it's gonna be perfect. So I'm gonna just try a 1/2-inch depth, see how the saw responds, come back, maybe another 1/2 inch, at least 3 passes, maybe more. Here's my starting point, square to the end over there. Mask up because it's gonna make a lot of dust. Got my glasses on. Here we go. You hear the saw? Doesn't like it. Yeah, perfect. Now I stop again. I'm square to this side. If I keep going, I'm going to start angling that way, away from our rim board, because it wants to be straight right here. All right, I think we got it in 2 more passes. But I hope you guys can hear how the saw is struggling. It takes a lot of horsepower to make that cut. I've actually done this before. Look at me pulling the saw back with the cord. I bet I'm not going to get any comments about that. So I used to have a saw blade that was kind of shaped like a triangle, and it was made for this, but I don't even think they make those anymore. All right, let's make 1 more pass, see how that goes. Nice, bud.
Yeah.
Love it. Not too bad at all. So it was 3 passes, guys. You can hear the saw works harder and harder the deeper you go. And the tighter the radius, the less of a pass you can make. The bigger the radius, you can take deeper passes. Oh yeah. Woo! Check that out, guys. There's our 1/4 of a circle cut with circular saws that are intended to make straight cuts. All right, now, of course, we got to cut from the bottom too because our saw doesn't go deep enough. So we flipped it over, repositioned our jig. I'm ready to go. Let's finish one of these corners. All right, guys, we're getting there. It kind of looks like we're building a boat, doesn't it? Now, our next step is to connect the cut we made on the top and the cut we made on the bottom. Simply going to use our reciprocating saw, finish it, and we're ready to wrap it. Pretty nice. Little trim on that block. Good enough. All right, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to bend a 2x8 by 16 footer around this corner. Hey guys, we're gonna take a quick break because I forgot to take my AG1 today. If you guys haven't heard of AG1 yet, you may be wondering what it is. Well, it's convenient and comprehensive daily nutrition. It's the simplest habit you can get into if you want to up your nutritional game. They make it convenient with these cool travel packs. I got 8 ounces of water and this awesome tumbler right here. We're just simply going to take the lid off, dump that in, boom, give it a quick shake, and I'm ready to go. AG1 is great for your brain health, your gut health, and your overall health. So I shared with you guys before that I used to get all my multivitamins from tablets and capsules, a handful of them, literally every day, and they were hard for me to swallow. So I love how AG1 has made it so simple for me. So if you guys been looking to up your nutritional game, now's the time. You can click the QR code right here or simply go to drinkag1.com/studpack to subscribe, and you're gonna get $20 off your first subscription. Thanks so much to AG1 for sponsoring our video. Let's get back to work. All right, guys, we picked one of our best 2x8s to bend that board right there. And the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna cut a bunch of curves in here. But how many do we need? Well, there's an app for that. It's actually a website. You've heard us talk about it before, blocklayer.com. They have a wood bending section, tells you how many curves to put in it. So I'm gonna zoom this in for you. Curve radius outside, 72 inches. That's our 6 foot we were talking about. Our sweep angle, 90 degrees. We're doing a 1/4 of a circle. The kerf width, how thick is my saw blade? I measured it with my digital calipers. It is 0.064. Wood thickness, 1.5. We're dealing with a 2x, right? And the minimum thickness right here, that number, that's what's remaining of the wood after you cut your kerf. So if I set my saw blade for 1 3/8 deep, I'm gonna have a minimum thickness remaining of 1/8 of an inch, 0.125. Punch calculate, and there we go. 37 cuts, 3.14 inches apart. They do all the math down here for you. We're just gonna cut a bunch of cuts, make it simple on ourselves, 3 inches apart. Guys, we just took a couple minutes and we made a pencil mark every 3 inches. So what that's gonna do for us, I can just slide my square down to this mark, make a curve. Slide it down to the next mark, make a curve. Slide it down, make a curve. 37 times, let's go.
Whoa! water.
Why don't you give her a try? Oh yeah.
Wow.
Easy, man. That's beautiful. I was sweating that for like 2 days since I thought of this.
Nice job.
Beautiful, man.
Great plan.
All right, let's put it on there. All right, guys, it is so awesome to see our plan like come to life and know that everything we've been planning for is actually going to work, right? A lot of times you don't know. So just to give myself a little insurance, I'm going to put some construction adhesive on here because we're going to nail it on. We're going to nail this to here, and it's going to look great. Man, that worked great, Rad. Now, I did go kind of crazy on my curves here. I didn't know quite when to stop, but now we know on the next one. And this is gonna be fine because our Advantech's gonna go right here and tie all this back together. Now, we could have put some bendy plywood on here, right? Piece of 1/4 inch or something. That would have been fine, but we just wanted to show you that it's possible to bend 2x lumber. And now this is gonna be really strong. None of them kids over there are gonna put their foot through that. So our next step is to cut these apart because this is too big to get through that doorway. We have one cut to make right here, then we'll put on our Advantech.
Freedom.
All right, guys, we are gaining on it. We got our sheet of Advantech on this section. We got it screwed down to the 4 corners, got everything square, used the sheet to square up our base. Now, I've got my pencil. I'm going to reach underneath, scribe that curve on the bottom of the Advantech. Now we're going to remove our 4 screws, flip it over, cut almost to the line with the jigsaw, flip it back over, put it back down, and use a router bit to trim it exactly to the board we just bent. Now, Rad wants to full send the router, but that's a lot of wood for a router bit to remove in one pass. So I'm going to try it my way first, and who knows, we might try it Rad's way later on. Got our piece of Advantech back down. Just got a little bit of an overhang right here, about 1/8 of an inch. And that'll be no problem for that router bit. 1/2 inch shank, 1/2 inch router bit, 1/2 inch bearing. The bearing's gonna ride against this wood that we bent and trim this perfectly flush. And there we go, guys. All done. We just got this one to do. Router's probably one of the most versatile tools on the planet. Let's screw this one down, haul it in the back, finish this one. All right, guys, when I use the jigsaw on a line like that, I'm trying to leave 1/8. All the sawdust gets in the way. I got tired of blowing it off, so I remembered I got this little blowgun attached to my air hose. So I'm just using that to clear away the sawdust so I don't wander too far onto that side. That's frustrating. So here we go. Just what we wanted. Now, I might put a little round over on there later, but let's go see how they fit. All right, guys, that looks absolutely awesome, just like we planned it. Now, for the other side, we're gonna throw you into a time lapse, knock it out. Here we go. All right, guys, we got these 2 done. The first 2 took us 4 hours. These 2 took us 2 hours. And that's how it goes when you build something custom like this. But we did learn a few things that saved us a bunch of time. First thing we learned was our little 3-inch gapper on our kerf board. I didn't have to mark the board at all. Here's what we did. Almost every circular saw, the distance between the blade and the fence right here is 1.5 inches. And on my square, it's 1.5 inches between here and the start of that groove, like that. So all I had to do, make a cut, line up that cut line in that little window right there, make another cut. That's 3 inches. That saved me a ton of time. The other big time saver, probably the biggest time saver, was we realized we didn't need the row of blocks on the bottom. And it actually made it a lot easier to get this one perfect, because it was hitting the row at the top, everything planed out nice and square, and then we're able to route it flush. And check how tight all these kerfs are on the inside. Looks awesome. So these 2 are ready to go into the next gen zone. let's get them in there and finish the install. All right, guys, there we go. All 6 pieces in our next gen room. Looks awesome. Really happy with the way it turned out. But I am going to round over that front edge. Got a 3/8 round over bit in my router. Got the vacuum ready. Let's get it done. All right, guys, that round over is way better. It won't chip now when somebody tries to come up here and hits that corner. You may have noticed in the back we got this big void, and that was intentional. We have all these AV cables back here. They're going to be adding stuff, removing stuff constantly, right? So we're actually going to build a trough back here with a cover and a hinge lid so we can access some of this equipment. But we need some wood. We're going to head to the store. We'll see you in a minute. All right, we're back from the store, and now we're going to build our quick wire management system for all those cables. And this is a case where simpler is better. Imagine this is the back wall right here. So this 2x8 will go against the back wall. Imagine I'm kneeling on the stage, so this is that gap between the stage and the back wall. We're going to have a 2x8 at the wall, a 2x8 at the stage, and we're going to connect them with little 9-foot blocks of 2x4 all the way across, just like a ladder, 2 feet on center. And that'll give them plenty of room right here to add and remove cables as their audio video needs change. We got the chop saw set up. Let's crank out a bunch of 9-inch blocks. That's better.
You got that at least?
Yeah, I didn't want to bend over for like 400 yards, so I'm just going to pull. You steer the back. All right, got our first ladder in place. Now I can measure for my next one. I'm at 141 7/8.
41, 7/8?
You got it in your brain? Because I'll forget it by the time we walk back.
Yep.
All right, dude, I'm counting on you. There we go. We got wire management all the way across the back of our stage. Now, remember, this is an old grocery store. And this slab, it's worse than the slab at Brad's house. So check, it is. So check this out right here. This piece is not flat, right? So what I was gonna do, I was gonna get my router, you know I love my router, make a jig and route out a little recess in here, get some aluminum bar, put it in that recess, and that'll flush this out with a couple screws and also tie them together. But these are so heavy, they're not moving, right? So what we're gonna do to get this flushed out now, because the slab is so whack, Rad's gonna stand on it. I got a screw right here. We're simply gonna screw it to our ladder frame in the back, and that'll hold it down. Done. Cool, man.
Nice.
All right, gang, all done with that. All of our modular platforms are flush, which is what we wanted, so nobody catches a toe and trips. We got our ladders in place, so now we're gonna go back to our table saw, our work area, and we're gonna rip some Advantech to cover this. And we're gonna create an access panel right here that hinges up so they can access all their AV equipment and their cords underneath. Here's the section that has the door in it, so I've got it scribed right here. We're gonna make a cut right here with our table saw. I've removed the riving knife so I can make a plunge cut. Here we go. And before we cut this little door free and have to deal with 2 pieces, we're going to attach our hinge first. We're going to stop there. We're going to flip it over and finish it so you don't see our kerf.
Nice.
Boom, there's our door. Let's make a finger hole. So the biggest bit I have with me is this great big unibit, but it does a great job in wood as well as sheet metal. Let's give it a go. Oh yeah. And finish from the bottom. Check that out, Rad. Looks like a canyon in there. Nice, dude.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Dang, there we go, guys. Simplest door I've ever made. That's going to be a wrap on the video. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope the youth at our church gets many, many years youth out of this next-gen space and the stage we built for them. So if you're tired of your rectangular round button, now you know how to curve some 2x, make a round-like button, smash it for us. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber to our channel. And if you're looking for some Stud Pack merch, I've got some OG stuff on here. You can check that out over at bunkerbranding.com. Stud Pack Dream House, I know we keep saying it, but we are really, really close to tearing down that house that Jordan used to live in and building the new Stud Pack Dream House. Jordan, Rad, and I are really excited to bring that to you very, very soon. Guys, thanks for all the love and support. We'll see you right back here on our very next Stud Pack video. Wood thickness,